started. Who wants to kick us off?
Can I get your reaction to the turning point protesters calling around the area?
They're already on our schedule. They're kids. I mean, I don't know why they're doing what they're doing or how they think that's effective. I felt bad for all the people around us who were trying to enjoy the fair and having their experience disrupted. So that's all I have to say about that. I just quoted Forrest Gump.
You have proposed a data center group of policies.
Yeah.
As you may know, the Salem City Council had to cancel their recent meeting because of death threats. How do you think your proposal would cool the temperature? And if you don't think it does adequately, are you going to add to it?
What I don't want to see happen is leaders in the state of Iowa kicking the can down the road the way they've been doing it on eminent domain for carbon capture pipelines. A moratorium means that if a 12-month moratorium, then in 11 months, everyone's going to be all knotted up, worrying again about what's going to happen next. I want a law on my desk if I'm elected governor, and I want it there in January that puts together all the rules that I have called for. Transparency, setback requirements, they pay their own way, that if they're going to build here, they're going to contribute to the lives of the people who already live here, and if they don't want to do that, then they can go build somewhere else. If that law is on my desk in January and I sign that, we're going to have clarity. People in towns like Celix aren't going to feel like their town is getting taken over with a lack of transparency and a lack of clarity, and that their resources are being extracted, because we'll have rules in place and punishment for anyone that doesn't follow the law.
Do you have any thoughts about the governor's choice for IPER's CEO, and also about John Norwood's proposal that maybe the governor shouldn't directly appoint the IPER CEO, that should be done by a more independent board that's not dominated by appointees of the governor?
Do not.
In your speeches, you bring up the fact that you had Republicans and independents as senior officials in the auditor's office. Would you commit as governor to doing the same thing?
100%.
You mentioned during the speech about the idea of winning an election and then inviting members of the losers team into your staff. Would you pick members of Blaine's team, or would you be open to that?
The idea is it's people who supported my opponent. I'll have people who supported my opponent in my cabinet.
Sort of in that vein, who's been the best agents you had in the Reynolds administration?
That's a dangerous question, because I don't want anyone to get fired when they're 2 months out. I'm just not going to answer that. I'm not here to pick favorites between people, many of whom I know and have good relationships with.
There's a constitutional amendment that Iowa voters are going to be asked for that would require a 2/3 vote of the legislature to increase the tax. You've also talked about wanting to bump up the sales tax. I can't forget that on that would impact just income, there's also sales tax. But I'm curious if you have a message for voters who are going to cast that vote.
Not today, not at this point.
What do you think it says about Iowa voters that one way or another the next governor is likely going to be somebody that blames big agricultural corporations for the cancer crisis?
I don't know if I would characterize it that way. I think that we've got two people who are talking about it. I think the difference is that we've got credibility going back a long time on the issue. I've growing up in Iowa, was always out there in the water, trout fishing or tubing. My kids are doing it now. My kids are drinking Iowa water. I spent a summer working on water quality issues. It's been a passion point of mine my whole life. And I think it's just more of a demonstration that Iowans really want improvement in the water quality situation more than anything else, and that's bipartisan. I think that that's a good thing, because I do want that to happen.
There's been a lot of energy and emotion from both your supporters and Blaine's supporters. A lot of interactions. Blaine addressed some of your supporters during his Soapbox yesterday. There's some interactions between your supporters and Blaine supporters at his booth yesterday. What's your message to supporters or your supporters on their interactions? And what does that say about kind of the energy and the emotion about this governor's race specifically?
I guess my message is don't behave like the kids from Turning Point USA. Be respectful. That's the same thing I say at the vast majority of my events. You'll notice that I didn't bring them up today. I've got plenty of stuff to talk about that doesn't involve talking about my opponent. At this point, typically when I'm bringing him up in my town halls, I tell people the most important thing that you need to remember about my opponent is that he's a human being. And he's got people that he loves, and there are people in the world that love him too. And we can have a conversation about who's better, and we can have sharp disagreements without
left side of the Democratic Party may not come out and support you? Because I've seen things on social media where members of the LGBTQ community have not been happy with some of the things that have been said.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are ready for change in the state of Iowa, and I understand that people want to express their disappointment. That's part of the reason that I do 100 public town halls every year. And in fact, some of the most emotional questions that I've been asked have been people from the left who are upset about my positions on issues where they disagree with me. And I'm happy to have them be there. I'm happy to have them voice their disagreement, because I think they should be able to do that in a functioning democracy that's actually about serving ordinary people, including the people that disagree with me. At the end of the day, I think those folks are probably going to come out and vote, and even if they understand that I may not be with them on every issue, that we need to get back to balanced government in Iowa so that we're putting these culture wars aside and focusing on the issues that impact everybody in the state.
Zach and Jeff Coffin yesterday kind of reiterated that they don't believe the way you describe yourself as being one person. I know I've talked to you about this in the past, but and you lay out a lot of stuff in your stump speech. I won't ask you to convince them, but maybe if there are any voters out there who hear that and would like to hear more proof beyond what's in this, is there anything beyond in your speech?
I think they should take 20 minutes and watch the stump speech on 1.5. If they only want to take a little bit less time, that's fine. I think I got plenty of proof points to it, but yeah, I can add some more. I've never been to a DNC convention. When the DNC made public records requests to the auditor's office, they asked for all allegations of wrongdoing by Kim Reynolds, and we gave them absolutely nothing. Because we believe that our job under Iowa law was to give them nothing. And at the end of the day, we're in here to follow Iowa law and not do what some private club asks us to do. They sent the same records request a second time after we replied and gave them nothing, like we had missed the letterhead on where it came from. We gave them the same reply a second time. At the end of the day, if you want to show me someone that has had, out of the 3 most senior positions in the office, 2 people who donated to their opponent anywhere else, I'll tip my cap to them, but I think we're doing a better job of that than probably anybody.
Awesome. We have time for 3 more questions.
Aaron's point, and to your point, that if you were elected, there would be a Republican legislature. How would you respond to an Iowan who may be concerned that rather than that resulting in change, that may result in gridlock with Republicans blocking what you want to do, and that your policy priorities may not get through?
You know, look, with a tripartisan leadership team at the state auditor's office, we uncovered a record amount of misspent money. I know that I will work with anyone that I disagree with joyfully. I have done this my whole life. I enjoy it when people are able to, make a successful point where I have to admit, okay, that's a fair point, and that we can adjust our thinking together to make it work. I can't control what other people are going to do. I can only tell you that if I'm governor, I'm going to be working with everybody to do the stuff that the vast majority of people in this state want to do. The smartest thing for the legislature to do is to do all the stuff that I just campaigned on if I win this race, get it done, and then try to have an argument 4 years from now that's focused on other stuff where maybe they think they can win. That'd be the smartest thing for them to do. I hope they'll do it. If they want to just fight instead, well, I'll sign stuff that's good, and those folks can understand that I'll veto stuff that's bad. Someone needs to play goalkeeper up there and be the adult in the room that recognizes a bad idea, like gutting the state auditor's office, like having no income limits on the school vouchers program that has a total lack of accountability, like defunding water quality monitoring, and on and on.
How do you assess the state's economy right now?
Not great.
Last question.
I mean, we just saw farm income go down 50%, right? We're 48th on average over the last 3 years for personal income growth. You know, got their personal income doubled? Odyssey, the company that runs the school vouchers program. The state signed a contract with them, and then just months later came back and amended the contract to effectively double their pay. That, to me, is just a measure of not only are regular people suffering, but insiders and special interest groups have got it made.
All right, last question.
Young America is beautiful in a lot of places, but they make different in the Iowa State Fair.
It did. I saw somebody wiping away tears. That happens fairly often. It didn't get me tonight. The best venues are when we're in a church or somewhere with a high ceiling and you can hear echo, and I try to sing a little softer because I know that when I hear it, it does me.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for coming today.
Thank you.
We're taking the job. We're going to step right up.